Hello, Live, Run, Balance family, and welcome to another episode of the Live, Run, Balance show. I'm your host, Kenneth Pinkney. Today's guest is a superstar in the ultra trail running world who's in it to win it. So he stepped into the ultra trail running scene in 2016, finishing second place in Northwest during Challenge. 2017, the winner of the ultra trail through Mont Blanc 100K CCC, and then I believe 2019 Chuckanut 50K and the Black Canyon 100 in 2020, and the winner of Squaw Peak 50 miles. So I know I'll probably missing a couple of races in between that he will have win or the finish in second place or first place, whatever, he's up there. So also he's a run coach, a husband, a father. Also, he's a HOKA athlete. And he grew up in St. George, Utah. So Live, Run, Balance family, to welcome Mr. Hayden Hawks to Live, Run, Balance show. How are you doing, Hayden? Good to meet you.
Yeah, cool, man. Thanks for having me on. Excited to be on the show today. Yeah, I'm doing well, man. I'm just up here in Tahoe in Olympic Valley, preparing for Western States next weekend. And just trying to get ready and make sure I'm ready to go next weekend for the race.
Yeah, definitely. Want to get to the race, Western State a little bit. And so, before I forget, definitely I want to say a shout out to our mutual friend, Mr. Dylan Mars, and for connecting us. And so shout out to him. He's a great guy, good friend, and I know you've got a lot of stories about him, more than I do.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Dylan's a good friend of mine. I mean, he he's a big guy in the San Diego running community there, and he ran with me in college at Southern Utah University, and so me and Dylan have been friends ever since college. And he's definitely a guy that I've kept in contact with after college, and just a really good friend and a really good person. So I'm really happy that he was able to connect us, and we were able to, I guess, have that connection with Dylan.
Yeah, definitely. A great one, but down to earth also, very down to earth. Yes. So before we begin, everybody know who you are, in the ultra trail running world, being ultra trail running world, you're the superstar that you are. But share a little bit about your journey before the ultra trail running came into your life.
Yeah, before I was an ultra trail runner, I ran track and field and cross country. I kind of went through the high school and the collegiate system here in the United States. But I did it. I kind of started a little later than most people. Most people start when they're like a freshman in high school. I didn't start till my junior year of high school. And I kind of wasn't really into it at first. I came off of being a baseball player and a basketball player. And I really didn't think running was for me. But I was very competitive. I definitely had a lot of drive and a lot of motivation to just be the best that I could be. And so I kind of went into cross country just trying to, right off the bat, I was trying to beat all the top guys. I wasn't the top guy, but I had this goal of, like, by the end of the season, I'm going to be the top guy on the team. I'm going to be the number one runner in the state of Utah. And it kind of started with there. Like I started running this cross country stuff and track and field, and I fell in love with it. I fell in love with running. I fell in love with pushing my body. Just being being out there on the trails and in the running, and it kind of went from there. And then I got a scholarship to run cross country at Southern Utah University. Then after college, I was kind of like torn. Like I didn't know what to do. Should I continue to run on the roads, or should I run some trails? Because I grew up running trails in Southern Utah. I grew up right next to Zion National Park and Bryce Canyon and the Grand Canyon and all these amazing places to run trails. And I was like, I think I'm going to try this trail thing and maybe see what it's like. And I soon, had a lot of success right off the bat. Like I was able to go to the U.S. National Championships for mountain running and qualify for the U.S. national team. And then I ran my first ultra marathon shortly thereafter, which was
Yeah.
the Speed Goat 50K in Utah.
Yeah.
And I won that race. And then, like you mentioned at the start, I ran the North Face 50 mile, which was my first 50-mile race in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And I ended up taking second in that race.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it just kind of catapulted from there. Like,
Yeah.
I just fell in love with the trails. I fell in love with the community.
Yeah.
And I just haven't looked back.
Okay. That I like that. You know, when you get to the trail, you can't go back. You know, I like to say that. You know, that happened for me also. Well, I want to go back a little bit. Where you were like, you say you were good at basketball and baseball. Me being a basketball fan, and I didn't play pickup games all the time. You know, before I started really running like trails. You know, and I had my basketball shoes, all that stuff. You know, but I wasn't that great, but I just enjoyed playing. You know, but I dropped basketball like a bad habit and all of this crazy trail running. So how good was you basketball? Like you say you were a fiery runner, you know, and you in it to win it. We like that with basketball, you know, and then you playing.
Yeah, I was pretty good. I mean, I was decent. Yeah. I mean, I played against a lot of like the high school kids, you know, like we would play a lot of pickup games and you know, I played a lot of church ball. I was a member of a church, and we play a lot of church ball.
Oh yeah, I know about that too.
Days. And you know, I really love basketball. I still love basketball.
Yeah.
I'm a big Utah Jazz fan.
You know what? I'm gonna take with basketball just a little bit, but man, growing up, I would win for Utah to beat Chicago Bulls so bad. You know, I mean, they had two chances.
Yep.
2 chances.
Yeah, Karl Malone and John Stockton.
Yeah, and they couldn't. Brian Russell, and he couldn't get the job done. He could not get the job done.
I know, man. It's hard because those were our only 2 times ever going.
I know.
And we lost 2 years to Michael Jordan.
I know.
So.
Now, I'm a Jordan hater. You know, everybody know I'm a Jordan hater. You know, but I'm a Lakers fan, not Magic Johnson, man. You know, so Magic Johnson, Kobe Bryant. You know, so yeah.
Well, I'm a big Kobe fan, man. Even though I'm a Utah Jazz fan, I actually love Kobe. I love his mentality, you know, that Mamba mentality. It's definitely, I grew up, you know, in that Kobe era. And so, Kobe was my guy. I mean, he was the guy I'd always root for. And I loved his work ethic.
Oh, yeah.
And I actually, in my career, I've kind of like, I guess, modeled my work ethic off of Kobe Bryant.
Okay.
And like, I try to like, you know, have that mentality of just getting the work done and doing the best I can and not taking no for an answer, you know, and it's kind of like driven me and motivated me over the years is my love for basketball and my love for guys like Kobe Bryant and learning from how they worked. And it's actually made me a better runner, you know, modeling my mentality off of guys like that.
Exactly. So speaking of mindset, you know, I have my question lined up. We're going to go off a little bit, you know, or Kobe in our mindset. We in the long races, 100 milers, whatever, even 50 miles, man. That's long for average people like me, you know. And we in the heat, you maybe feel the pain, or maybe like you don't want to go on, or if you could do it or not. With the mindset you have, we in that rut, we had the low moment. Because these long races, you have your low moments. Well, you got to find your way out of that low moment. And, you know, what you do?
Yeah. I mean, it's hard, right? Like I'm still working on my mindset. It's a constant battle. It's a constant, you know, mind game, I guess you could call it, to like become better mentally. You know, like I was actually talking to one of my athletes today who's preparing for a big race coming up. And he was talking about like having anxiety before races and just like, you know, really being nervous about his upcoming race. And he's like, "Aren't you nervous?" And I said, you know, I get nervous. I do get anxiety. Every pro athlete gets a little bit nervous before a big game or a big race because it means a lot to us, right? Like Western States means a lot to me. I put a lot of work into it. I've really trained for it. But that being said, like I try to get that anxiety or that pressure that's put on me, and I try to reverse it and actually use it as positive energy. When I don't feel anxiety, I get a little nervous because anxiety is not a bad thing all the time. Anxiety it can actually prepare you for the race. It can prepare you to do really well at the race. If you take it the right way and you use it as positive energy. It's when you let anxiety shut you down is when it becomes a bad thing. And so you can't let it shut you down. You have to take it the opposite way, and you have to let it motivate you and inspire you. And you got to get excited, going into these races. I'm so excited going into Western States. But like you said, in the race, I mean, it's tough. It's not just a physical thing. It's a mental thing as well. But I think if you've prepared yourself properly, you've put in the training, you have the confidence, you've nailed your fueling, you've prepared yourself the best way you possibly can. It makes it a bit easier to get through those hard moments in a race. And you just learn how to dig yourself out of those holes because you've already done it in your training. You've prepared yourself. You've put yourself through hard situations before you actually get to the race. And so I've always said, like, I'm going to work hard. I'm going to put myself through some hard situations or some challenging moments.
Got to.
That way, when I get to the race, it's not as challenging, and I know how to handle it, right? I know how to handle it. It's preparation. I mean, it's the same thing. We were just talking about Kobe Bryant. Like, Kobe Bryant was the ultimate preparer. Like, he prepared for every game. Like, he knew exactly what his body, how it was going to respond. He knew exactly where he was mentally. And I think if you're preparing yourself properly, you can get through hard times physically and mentally.
Okay. Hey, so also he was good at studying out other players. Do you study out other runners? Or it did something totally different?
I don't necessarily study out under other runners because I don't focus on them. I'm focused on myself.
It's totally different. Yes.
And it's a bit different, but I do focus. I study out courses, right? I'll study out the Western States course. And I know the Western States course like the back of my hand. I mean, I know exactly where I need to push, where I need to back off, where the water spots are, where the cooling spots are. So I do my homework, and I do study out a lot on the course and also training techniques and cooling techniques and different things like that, so that I'm prepared as best as I can. And then I go into the race and I run my own race. And I usually have success when I do that.
Okay, I like that. Study the course, knowing the course, understand the course, and just because the weather could be up and down, you just never know. Could you prepare for the weather? It's hard to, because you never know.
You never know. And that's why I say you focus on what you can control. Right?
Definitely.
Because if you're so focused on what you can't control, like the weather, I can't control the weather. So I don't focus on the weather. I don't focus on the other athletes I'm competing against because I can't control them. I can't control what they're doing. I might know their tendencies, and I guess, I study them a little bit where I know their tendencies. I know how they usually race, and I know how I can beat them. But I don't sit there and study everything because I can't control how their training's going. I can't control the weather. I can't control little things like that. So I focus on what I can control. Exactly.
Definitely. Do your best. Everything else, take care of the rest.
Exactly, man.
So when do you realize that you can make a career in the ultra trail running thing? When did that light bulb moment happen for you?
I mean, I don't know, man. I didn't know if it was even possible, to be honest with you. I remember I wanted to be a professional athlete. I wanted to be a professional runner. After I graduated college, I wasn't sure if I was going to go road or trail or whatnot. I remember sitting down with my wife and being like, hey, like, I really want to be a professional runner. And I said, we're not going to be very rich. We're not going to have a lot of money or anything. It's definitely not that type of sport. But I said, this is my passion. This is what I want to do. And I said, are you okay with that? Like, do you support me in that? And she said, yes, 100%. I support you in it. You go after it. And let's do it. Let's try it out. And so, there was a few years in there where I was just grinding and trying to get contracts and just trying to make it as a professional runner. And then all of a sudden it just came, like it clicked. I started winning. I started, really racking up some of the big wins, and HOKA like really liked me, and HOKA was like, hey, we want to sign you. We're going to give you a good contract. And from then on, it's kind of been history. Is like HOKA really has supported me since day one.
That's great. That's great.
And honestly, I couldn't have done any of this without their support.
Yeah, that's
so
great.
I'm really grateful to be a HOKA athlete, and I definitely have to give it up to HOKA, because HOKA's definitely supported me all the way, and they still support me today. And I'm really grateful to be with such an amazing brand.
Yeah, me too. I'm a HOKA flyer, newly just for a couple months now, and just I'm gratitude, Now I could have just given free shoes, but I like free shoes. I post on Instagram another day, cause my wife, when I first started trail running and do races, I didn't buy shoes, and shoes are expensive, and my wife's like, man, she was on me like buying all the shoes, but I said I need them, But but 10 years later, hey, it just not because I'm a great athlete, because just I joined the community and run it, HOKA.
Oh yeah, I mean, you do a lot for the community, man, and that's the thing is, we're not all great athletes, but we're all supporting and helping this community, and that's what matters, right?
Like definitely.
I have a little bit different role than you do, but combined, we're helping a lot of people. And I think that's what's most important, is that we do the best that we can, whatever situation we're in, we do the best that we can to support other people, to help the younger generation. And that we do everything we can to build up people and build up the community.
Yeah, definitely. Just bring inspiration to my own family, because where I'm from, being who I am, my skin color, race, whatever, a lot of people don't run, my age, people don't run like I do. And so, but inspire family members over the past couple of years,
That's awesome.
I share it on social media, and I do social media for the good, share my running stuff, to my family members back in others in South, back South, wherever, and just bring inspiration to them. And that's been my greatest joy the past couple of years, seeing it being fun inspiration in my running. So
you're inspiring a ton of people, man. I mean, it's it's pretty sweet to see. And honestly, you motivate me, you inspire me, and so thank you. I mean, thank you for doing that.
But definitely, but about me, so but definitely gratitude is just gratitude, trying to remain gratitude. So obstacle and challenge, we all have them, So what's some challenge or obstacles that you had to overcome in running or life to help you become the person you are today?
Yeah, man. I mean, I think there's big challenges that you have to go through in life, but there's also little challenges, that you have to go through in life. And those little challenges sometimes are even the harder ones that you have to go through. And I mean, I'll share something with you that just recently happened is, I had this big training block, right? Where I'm fit, friggin' feeling really good, and was on top of the world. I mean, I've had some of the best workouts I've ever had in my entire career, these last few months. Well, last week, or actually it was about 10 days ago, I woke up one morning and all of a sudden my knee was completely swollen, and I couldn't run. I had to take almost 3 days off of running because my knee is friggin' swollen. And I was pretty upset. I was like, are you kidding me? I went through this whole entire block. I'm on the top of my game. And I wake up one morning and my knee won't even bend. I couldn't even bend my knee. And I couldn't run at all. And since then, I've been doing a lot of work on it, and it's almost 100%. It's almost completely better.
Oh, wow.
And I guarantee you on race day, it'll be just fine. I'll be just fine. And honestly, it was probably a blessing in disguise because it made me get a little bit more rest. Maybe I needed the rest.
Absolutely.
But it's just little things like that sometimes, right? I was pretty upset. I remember breaking down to my wife and being I can't believe this. I've worked so hard for this.
I know.
And all of a sudden, my knee's giving out on me, and I'm not going to be able to run Western States. And now looking back on it, I'm maybe that's a good thing, because maybe
Mm.
that taught me mentally how much I really love this race, and to be
Yeah.
grateful, that I have the ability to do this, right? And
Oh
so
yeah.
I'm going to line up next weekend at Western
Yeah.
States,
Yeah.
and I'm going to have a lot of gratitude, and I'm going to
Ooh,
be
that's powerful.
just really excited about doing this race, because
Yeah.
I mean, I could not be doing this. I mean, the knee could have continued to flare up, and I couldn't be
Yeah.
doing this. And,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's just little things like that sometimes that,
Absolutely.
I think everybody's got their challenges in life, and
Yeah.
whether it's big or whether it's small, I
Yeah.
think it matters to them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what matters, is that we help people
Yeah.
in those situations
Yeah.
to get out of it, to get
Yeah.
out of the
Yeah.
hole,
Yeah.
and to carry them with us. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, like I was pretty frustrated, but at the same
Yeah. I can
time,
imagine.
like, I know that,
Mm.
it is what it is, and
Yeah.
it's going to be okay.
Yeah,
And I'm going
definitely.
to show up on race day, and I'm going to
Yeah.
be just fine.
Absolutely. Hope I see you towing that line, race day,
I'll be
Yeah.
fine, man. I promise. It's almost complete. I ran almost 15 miles on the course today. Felt great.
That's great.
So
That's great.
I'm not worried about it now, but
Yeah.
a week or
Yeah.
two ago I was. So
Yeah. I can imagine, last year I had the plantar fasciitis, first time having it. Oh,
yeah,
that's painful. And,
yeah,
yes, I haven't do too much, but just it did give me an opportunity to do some volunteer work, and just like just slow it down, take it easy, So yeah. So but it kind of was blessed in disguise,
yeah.
So but
Yeah,
this year feeling
think, right?
good.
It makes you kind of think about things and be like,
Yeah.
you know, running means a lot to me, but it's not everything.
Yeah.
How can I help other people in this
Yes.
situation? Or like, how can I stop thinking about myself and my
Yes.
injury
Yes.
and use that energy to do something good for someone else,
Yeah, absolutely.
right?
Yeah, definitely. That was my focus last year, just okay, can't run like I want to, but hey, I could like serve, volunteer, at some races and stuff like that, So yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yes, it does no good for you to throw a pity party, and
No,
it,
no,
it does
no.
no good for you to just sit there and mope all day.
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna do better for you to get up
Yeah.
and to be proactive and do the
Yeah.
best you can to heal up, but also
Mhm.
do the best you can to inspire and help other people.
Yeah, that go. Just that's what we do. Just bring inspiration to other people, to help out, to serve,
Yeah.
one of my mantra to serve, to live a life of servitude, gratitude, and strive to be better.
There you go.
Yeah,
I love it.
yeah,
I love it.
yeah. So definitely. Um, so all of the races you've done the past few years, what have been your favorite race that you competed in so far?
Whew, that's a hard one, man. I mean, my favorite. Well, it's not hard. My favorite race is Western States,
Okay,
100%. My
okay.
favorite race is Western States.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's the most beautiful like race that I've done. I'd say the most beautiful race I've done is Lavaredo Ultra Trail, which is in the Dolomites in Italy.
Oh wow.
And that's just an amazing, like
Yeah,
beautiful race.
yeah.
I loved that race too, but
Yeah.
the hard thing is they're on the same weekend. So Lavaredo is on the same weekend as Western States. So I can't do both,
Yeah.
but those are probably my two favorite races I've ever done
Okay.
is Lavaredo and Western States.
Okay. So what is it about Western State to you that make it so special,
Yeah. I was talking to a friend about this actually today when we were running on the course.
Hmm.
A lot of it is built around the community,
Yeah.
just the vibe of the race,
Mhm.
the trails, and just like the
Yeah.
history of the
Yeah.
race. I love
Yeah.
the history of the race,
Yeah.
and it means a lot to me because Western States was the first ultra marathon I ever
Yeah.
learned about when I was a
Mhm.
kid.
Yeah.
It was one that really inspired me growing up,
Okay.
hearing people talk about it. And
Mhm.
then once I started learning about it, I started watching the films about it and I
Yeah.
started getting into it.
Mhm.
And Western States was always the goal when I started
Yeah.
my running career was like,
Mhm.
hey, if I'm going to be an ultra runner, Western States is the race that I want to win.
Okay.
That's the race, the ultimate goal for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of it is built around the community. Like it's
Mhm.
really cool to have, my family, my friends out.
Mhm.
Like the US running community out.
Yeah.
You know, it brings everybody together, and we have it's kind of like a big running party, to be honest with you. Is you have this like amazing culture, this amazing vibe. Like you finish on the track there in Auburn, and like, you know, you have so many people that you know and that you love there congratulating you, and then you get after and you're talking to all these running legends, and everybody's just hanging out on the track, just kind of like reminiscing on the race. And it's just such a special moment and such a special event. And it's honestly the race that I, you know, could continue to go back to. I've never ran a race 3 times. Western States will be the only race that I've ever ran 3 times. And so that's saying something that I'm going to keep going back to it because I really love it that much.
I get you can see he like New York, Madison Square Garden, the Mecca of basketball.
Yeah.
We consider like Western State the Mecca of the trail running. I mean, you got a UTMB also, but
it's different though, right? Like there's that American culture and that American community. And I think like Madison Square Garden with the Knicks and basketball and everything is kind of like, that's the place in the US where you want to be if you're a basketball player. I think, yes, I would compare Western States to Madison Square Garden. UTMB is a bit different. UTMB would be more like, you know, like one of those big soccer games in Europe, right? It's a little different vibe to it. I mean, it's definitely bigger and a little bit more going on at UTMB. But they have a little different feel. Like Western States has this more like American, like grassroots feel to it, but it's also a very big event. UTMB has more of this very professional, like European feel to it. I like both. I love both events. But yeah, it's just kind of, I think there's room for both events in our sport as well.
Definitely, because the trail running world have grown so much over the past few years. You know, I haven't been around that long, but just hear about it and see it and how it have grown and continue to grow. You know. I know it got me in it, so definitely. If you have grown, you know,
and it's going to continue to grow. I mean, there's more and more money getting in the sport. You know, contracts are getting bigger. Like there's a lot more. You know, there's a lot more events popping up. You know, you got the UTMB World Series now. So the sport's only going to grow. But I think it's important though, as the sport grows, that we stick to our roots, you know, that we make sure that us as athletes, you know, or community members, that we don't let like big organizations push us around. We stick to our roots. We do what we need to do, and we you know, educate people and we help people understand the history of the sport and why this sport is important to keep that history and to keep those roots. And so, I'm definitely a big advocate for that. Is I think that it's important that we set a good example to the younger generation of what this sport is really about. And we let it grow, but we let it grow in the right way.
Absolutely. You know, to grow, but stick to your roots, not to forget where you're from, how you started, you know, and do it all for the love of it. You know, definitely you want to make money, but not forget about the love also, you know.
Passion's everything, right? Like the love of the game, the passion for the sport, that should be the root. I'm a professional athlete. I want to make money. Of course I want to make money.
Definitely.
Like, and I don't think money's a bad thing.
No.
But I think that if my passion and my roots and my love for the sport go away and all I'm focusing on is the money, that's when it's bad. But I think both can come together, as we can make money and still be very passionate and love what we're doing. And I think if you can do that together, that's a good place to be in.
Absolutely. So we'll go a little bit back to family, you know, how your wife supported you to take on this career ultra trail running, you know, and you started off just like was making the money. I mean, what does it mean for you to have that type of support? You know, you tell your wife, I think you want to make a career out of this, but even though you're not going to make a whole lot of money, what does it, what that does for you,
Yeah, I mean, it's everything, man. My wife is, she's my rock, man. I mean, she
Yeah.
helps me in so many ways. Like, not only did she support me when I wanted to become a pro athlete, but she over the years, I mean, I've had some hard times where I've had injuries, I've had to drop out of races for different reasons, and she's always been there. She's always the one that digs me out of those holes. She's always there to support me, and she loves me no matter what. If I take first place, she loves me just as much as if I took last place. She don't care. And it's awesome to have somebody in your corner like that, somebody to help you. And she's definitely one that I lean on quite often, and I can't do it without her, and honestly, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to have somebody like that. So
definitely, it could
and she'll be out there supporting me at Western State. She's
awesome.
She's crewed me in a lot of my big races and my big wins. And so it's nice to have her out on the race, helping me out as well.
Yeah, definitely. It is great to have some support like that. So have you a vision or dream or play in your back of your mind about run to Western State, crossing coming across the track, finishing number one? Or what do you imagine? Have you imagined it yet?
Oh, many times, man. Many times. Yeah. I imagine it all the time, dude. I mean, I definitely visualize, and I'll sit there sometimes when I'm out in the mountains or in the forest, and I'll just stop and take a second and kind of visualize that moment, right? Or if I'm in a really hard workout and I'm just like grinding and having really pushing through an interval or something, I'll be like, I'll visualize that. I'll visualize crossing that finish line, running around that track. And, it all started, I guess, last year when I took second place. I was so excited to take second place at Western States. I was grateful. I was very grateful. But I wasn't content. I wasn't content because I've always wanted to win, and I've always wanted to be first, right? Just the competitor in me. I want to win. And after that race, after I took second place, I remember sitting down in a chair on the infield of the track there. And I was just thinking, and I actually visualized my first time crossing that finish line in first place right after I took second place last year. And I've since visualized it many times since then. And I've worked hard, and I'm going to do the best I can. It might not happen. I don't know. Like it's not always in my hands,
absolutely.
But at the same time, I'm going to do the best that I possibly can. And I do believe at some point those visualizations will come true. And I will cross that finish line in first place,
Absolutely.
And I hope it's this year, but it's a crazy sport, and I'm just going to go out there and I'm going to run my hardest, and I'm never going to give up. And hope that that's good enough to be first place.
So the state of Utah. Anybody from Utah that have won the rest of the state? We be first. Have Utah win? Have Utah win in like national championship and like Utah going one professional team, the Utah Jazz, right?
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, we have some universities, of course, and we've won. I'm trying to think. I think we've won some national titles in like track and field and cross country and stuff like that. Yeah, like Utah is not like California where there's just multiple national champions, right? Like we've had a few, but it's definitely a smaller state, and but it's a state that I'm very proud to be from.
Definitely. So when you do win the Western State, you win one for the state of Utah. And you make up for the two losses of Utah Jazz.
Yeah, I'll take the Western States trophy and I'll go deliver it to Michael Jordan's house, and I'll be like, "This is for Utah. This is for Utah." No, I'm just kidding.
I know. It's cool. Yeah, I'll get close to that. The love of the outdoors, the love of the trail, the love of the trail running community. What does it mean for you to have the love you have for just the outdoor, the trail, the trail running community? How is it for you, or about saying that right?
Yeah. Like honestly, in life, like, if I have to say, like my faith is big up there. My
Yes,
wife's
absolutely.
my faith support is big there. My wife's support is right there as well.
Yeah,
My family, of course.
yeah,
And then I would say next is my trail family or my trail community.
yeah,
Like the support of my community and my trail running brothers and sisters is just amazing, man. Like
yeah,
they've really uplifted me and helped me become a better athlete. They've helped me through hard times. Like I've been mentored by some of the greatest
yeah.
trail running athletes in the world.
Nice.
And it's pretty cool because when I came into the sport, I was pretty young.
Yeah.
Really didn't know much about the sport,
Mhm.
but I had people like, Magdalena Bollet and
Yes.
Ruth Croft
Yeah.
and Jim Walmsley
Yeah.
and a bunch of people like that, like reach out to me and talk to me and give me support and
Those are
help
great.
me with my nutrition and different things like that. And then recently, I mean, I have a coach, and my coach, his name's Robbie Britton.
Mhm.
He's one of the best coaches in the world.
Oh, wow.
He's honestly a really good friend of mine as well.
Yeah.
And he's helped me so much over the years, to become a better athlete, not only physically, but mentally.
Yeah.
And so honestly, like he's part of my community, he's part of my corner.
Mhm.
And just having that community of
Yes.
other ultra runners, my coach,
Yeah.
and just people out there cheering me on as I'm racing,
Mhm.
it means a lot to me. And I'm very grateful for all those people. And I definitely have to give it up to them for
Yeah.
supporting me this whole way and helping
Yeah.
me be the man and the athlete that I am today.
Absolutely. And with your faith, be the number one. You said you feel that you have a responsibility, into this community, or how your faith play a part in all of this, we're running.
Yeah. I mean, when it's all said and done, that means more than me than anything. Like
Yeah.
running's important to me. But I
Mhm.
feel like I've been blessed with these talents and these abilities,
Yeah,
from a
yeah.
higher being.
Yeah.
I believe in God and I believe in
Yeah.
Jesus Christ and I
Absolutely.
believe that they give me strength. And
Yes.
so honestly, like having that belief, it really supports me and it
Yes.
makes me balanced in life.
Yeah. Yeah.
It really helps me to know that like, hey, even if I were to have a bad performance or whatever it is, like,
Yeah.
he's still going to love me.
Yes.
And that's all that matters. Right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so
Definitely.
honestly, like it means a lot to me. It means a lot, not only, I guess to me individually, but I think it means a lot to my community that
Yeah.
I set an example,
Yes.
to other people,
Yes.
of a faithful, man or a faithful human being. And that's what I try to be is I try to be
Yeah.
just a good person, a man
Yeah.
of faith first.
Yes.
And I hope that my example is a good example to others.
Yes. I love that. And so that come to our final question or chat. What's your boundless motivation or thoughts, if it works?
Oh, I don't know, man. It's my boundless motivation. I mean, yeah, like I guess I'm so competitive, man. I'm
Yeah.
so competitive.
Okay.
I got that drive, I got that motivation that's
Yeah.
just deep in this heart. Like
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it.
Do you
but
got it
like,
for your family? Somebody from your family? Who taught
yeah,
somebody
my
tell you
family,
that?
my kids inspire me, my
Yeah.
wife inspires me, like
Yeah.
they're my motivation.
Yeah.
Like we've talked about community, my community
Yeah.
motivates
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
But honestly, it's just this drive
The
and this
drive.
passion for
Yeah.
what I do, like my
Yeah.
sport. Like I
Yeah.
love competing. I
Yeah.
love training hard. I
Yeah.
love the process and I love
Yeah.
going through the
The
process.
process. Oh.
And I just really
Yeah.
it's deep within me that it's hard for me to explain, but it's just
Yeah.
this drive, this mentality, this determination that I don't think it'll ever go away
Yeah.
because it drives me, and it's a passion within
Yes.
me that
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just so grateful that I do have. And
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a fire that is really hard to extinguish, and I don't
Yeah.
think it ever will be extinguished because
Yeah.
I'm really happy to be alive. I'm really
Yeah.
happy that I get to
Yeah.
do what I get to do for a living. I'm
Yeah.
very grateful that I get to do what I get to do for a living,
Yeah.
and I'll always be grateful for that.
Okay. I like that. It's drive. Sometimes you just can't explain it. Uh, yeah, you drive a hunger for something, and to be the best, want to be the best, and doing what you do, So
And I'm
yeah,
willing to do whatever it takes. Like
yeah, yeah, yeah,
sometimes it might come off as an obsessiveness, but
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I'm willing to do what it takes to be the best me,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and whatever that is what I'm willing to do.
yeah,
And as long as I get to the end of my career and I say,
yeah,
hey, I gave it everything I
yeah,
had,
yeah,
and I became my best self,
yeah,
I'll be happy. I'll be
yeah,
happy. Put aside all the wins, put aside
yeah,
all the
yeah,
course records.
yeah, yeah,
Like, I just want to be my best self. And if I
yeah,
can
yeah.
become my best self, that means more to me than anything.
Yeah, definitely. So don't leave that on the table, you know.
Exactly. I'm
Yeah,
not,
yeah,
yeah, I never have been that type of person. I
yeah,
never
yeah,
will be that type of person. Like, I'm all
yeah.
in, and I'm never going to leave something on the table. So,
Yeah, but that's cool. Yeah, so definitely a process. And they talk about process. Talking to we have some Facebook chat, and one of the running groups on Facebook. A running group I'm part of, and mention about process and trust the process.
yeah,
The trust the small step. You have a big goal, but trust the small steps leading to that big goal. But yeah,
exactly.
so yeah,
Exactly. Yeah,
yeah.
it's all about the steps, right? The steps to get
Yes.
you to your ultimate goal.
Yes.
Sometimes it can be quick, sometimes it can be a long time.
Oh,
And you
yes,
have to be
definitely.
sometimes you have to be patient, and you just have to have faith and
Yeah.
have confidence,
Yeah.
and know that if you continue to put in the work,
Yeah.
it'll play out someday, and you'll
Uh,
you'll get to do, you'll get to where you want to be.
Oh, absolutely. Totally agree. Yeah, no. I could be like some way of proving, well, I can prove a witness to that, but like testimony of that, I guess, Yeah. Presley, things that happened with my running, and how it evolved over the years.
Yeah,
Again,
that's awesome.
beyond our wildest imagination, probably beyond your wildest imagination. You never thought you'd be doing what you'd be doing.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I've always believed in myself, but
Okay. Yeah.
I never thought that it would, you know, be this situation,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
like, it's sometimes I got to pinch myself.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah. Yeah.
I knew that I would get somewhere, but I never
Yeah.
knew that I would get, to this level. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Well, but it's cool. Well, I appreciate that. Appreciate you sharing. I definitely appreciate this time.
yeah,
Um.
thanks, man.
Yeah. And so I want to go back to Dylan. Your relationship with Dylan. Since he brought us together, allowed me to have this interview. What's your relationship like with him? You know.
Yeah, Dylan's my dude, man. He's been my guy for years. Like,
Yeah.
me and him ran in college together, and he was
Yeah.
one of my best friends in college. Like,
Mm.
me and Dylan didn't always, I guess, I would kind of say it was like this. So
Yeah.
me and Dylan were like Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, or we were like Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal, right?
Okay.
We knew how to get the best out of each other,
Okay. Okay.
and we
Okay.
pushed each other,
Yeah. Yeah.
man. We pushed each other, and
Okay.
we respected each other
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
much
Yeah. Yeah.
that we were not willing to not get the best out of each other, and
Okay.
sometimes that meant that we had some arguments in
Yeah.
practice,
Yeah. Yeah.
or
Yeah. Yeah.
get under each other's skins.
Yeah. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we respected each other so much,
Okay.
and me and him became best friends. I mean, we
Okay.
became really tight
Wow.
through those moments of
Yeah.
pushing each other and
Yeah.
becoming better
Yeah.
together. And I think that's how you would explain me and Dylan is like, I love Dylan. Honestly, Dylan got me to a level in college that I never thought was possible.
Wow.
Because he was pushing me and he was driving me and he was helping me become a better athlete.
Wow.
But Dylan wasn't afraid to tell you that. He wasn't afraid to like speak his mind. He wasn't as, you know, and I love that. I love that about Dylan is he's the most genuine person you'll ever meet in your life. You know, he'll tell you how it is and he means it. And I think that's why I respect the guy so much. And honestly, he's become such a good friend to me is because, he's Dylan. And I respect who he is as a person, as a man, as a human being.
Yes, definitely. And the same, you know. I appreciate supporting me. Well, I've been doing the past couple of years, the running community, you know. And it's I don't even had to ask him, no. And I say, no, you should interview Hayden. You know, I'm good friends with Hayden. I didn't bring it up, you know, but he's just like say, you know, so yes, I appreciate you doing that, you know. Gonna help me out.
Oh, for sure, man. And you know, thank you for all you do in the San Diego running community. You know, I actually we lived in San Diego for a few years when I was younger.
Okay.
And so San Diego still holds a special place in my heart. Like I really love it down there. It's a place that me and my wife actually visit often.
Nice.
When we got married, we took our honeymoon to San Diego actually. And it's a place that I'll definitely be back in the future. And I guess keep doing what you're doing, man, because I know there's a lot of people that you're inspiring and you're helping down there. And it's a community that definitely deserves a guy like you.
Yeah, and I appreciate it. You know, I feel like it was meant to be, you know, me being here and how the process of life, you know, allow things to happen, you know. Oh God, you know, have a greater plan, you know. And so I didn't expect all of this, you know, to be doing what I'm doing the past few years, you know, but it happened, you know, so I didn't hold back. I went put myself out there just to really just out of service, you know. So
awesome, man, awesome.
Well,
I'll see you at Western States next weekend, man.
Yes. Thank you. You know, so thank you for joining the Live on Balance family. And people want to reach out to you and to connect with you. How would they do that? You know, but you know,
My Instagram is probably my best. I think it's Hawks_Hayden. You can also follow me on Strava. You can follow me on Twitter or Facebook. I'm active on all those networks, and so those are probably the best ways to reach out. And I do have a coaching business, hawksrunning.com. You can visit my website if you want to.
Okay, nice.
But I would say those are the best ways. Give me a follow on Instagram, Strava. Those are my two most active channels that I post on.
Okay, awesome, cool. Awesome, thank you for that. Thank you for sharing that. And also thank you, Live on Balance family, for joining me on that episode of Live on Balance Show. Living a life beyond the boundaries you set on yourself. And thank you for Hayden for showing us for like being your best all the time, for striving to not leaving nothing out on the table, if I say that right, but just going all out and just and just being boundless and being boundless in the Western States. Awesome. Here we go. Let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah. Until next time, family.